Card Junkies.
Alright. Welcome back. My name is Hobbitkrom. If you don't already know that, this is
Tommy T.
Hell yeah. And anyways, we got a new deck tech for you today. As you can see, I'm sporting this magical tack pen that we were talking about in our last video. It is fun to play with in more ways than one. In any case, for our deck tech, we're actually doing a deck today that is of our own design, which Tommy was bored one day. He called me up. He's like, "Hey, yo, Hobbit, like, I got an idea for you." And I'm like, "What you got?" He's like, "What if I just stole your girl?" And I'm like, "You can't steal my girl." And next thing you know, we're talking about magic. But this deck is called Snatch Your Girl. What's really cool about this deck, it's actually a deck of our own archetype. Something that happened when I first met Tommy, he was really obsessed with black-red. But the favorite thing he actually was obsessed with in the red part was the fact you could steal people's creatures. And he was like, "Oh man, I've been thinking about this deck for a while, I just don't know how to put it together." And I'm like, "You know, buddy, I got free time, I'm off work, I'm not cutting brisket today." And so sat down over the course of a couple days and talked with him, and we came up with Snatch Your Girl. And it's a black-red build. It's actually fairly interesting. And Tommy, why don't you lead us off on our lands?
Yeah, well, we're going to start off with 4 Canyon Slough. We're running 4 of them. They do have cycle on them, so, you know, late game, you need that other card, you just cycle it.
Right. We're going to go into our Foreboding Ruins. I wish I could read better, so I could probably say things right. That's our reveal land. We reveal a mountain or a swamp. It comes into play untapped. It's great for just early tempo, which you need when you need both colors right away, which we'll get into when we get into our other drops. But the cool thing about the cycle lands, they actually do count as a mountain and a swamp as well.
Yes, they do.
So if you need to and you have just that in your hand, you can always reveal it. And that way you don't have to try to drop it out there tapped. You can keep it if you want to cycle. You have a couple different options it leaves you with.
Next, we got 7 mountains. Typically, you already know what those are.
Basic, budget, like Bobby's mom.
You're watching, buddy.
And then we're going to run into 6 swamps. Pretty basic and budget, like Bobby's mom.
Hope you're watching. Next, we're going to move on to our 1-drops. We're using 4 magma sprays.
The reason why we're picking magma spray over shock or galvanic blast or any other, like, those are actually only 2 1-drop burn spells. 3, if I can ever count. But the reason why we use magma spray, pretty typical, Scrappy Scrounger, the new Undead Warrior guy. His name's Undead Warrior, isn't it?
It's something like that.
I don't know. The new Jackal guy who comes back. But I can't remember things. I would know his name if I knew how to read, but I do know what he does, because he's horrible.
Next, we're going to move on to our 2-drops, and Lay Bare the Heart. We're running 4 of them.
One of the things I really do love about Lay Bare the Heart is it's a little cheaper than Transgress the Mind, and it hits anything in their hand and not just something over 3 mana cost.
Except legendaries, correct?
Yeah, except it doesn't hit legendaries. So, but that's alright, because we're trying to target other things more so than that. Right now, we're trying to just generally hit what's in our hand and get rid of big problem threats later on, so we don't deal with it.
Also, we're running another good burn spell, Incidiary Flow. We're running 4 of those as well.
Right, it has the RFG ability as well. Same point in case with the magma sprays, as you heard us talk about earlier. And then next, we actually have a pretty surprising one.
Wrangle, one of my favorite cards. We're running 4 of those.
Right, I like to wrangle me gremlins too, buddy. As you can tell, I got my little buddy on my shoulder. He's my new best friend.
That's actually a dice case, isn't it?
It is.
That's actually really neat, man.
Yeah, I was like, I can put my digital life counter in there because I actually don't use dice. But Wrangle. So if you don't know what Wrangle does, it's a 2 casting cost Snatch Your Girl card. And by girl, we mean creatures, as I'm sure you guys guessed by now, because this is a magic game and not real life. But Wrangle, what it does is allows you to steal a creature with mana, with converted power 4 or less. And so the whole point of reason why we're using Wrangle will be explained a little bit later on in the deck tech when we get into that. And then
we're moving on to our 3rd drops. We got a Defiant Salvager. We're running 3 of those.
Right. I know that's a really awkward piece, but I guess that I guess I'll let you continue on before we go on to the explanation why. So why don't you go ahead and finish explaining our 3 drops, and I'll get into why we're running each one of these.
Another one of our 3 drops, we're running Yaheeni's Undying. We're running 2 of those. You know.
Okay, and then go ahead and continue on. Tommy, just read down the list, and we'll get into it in a minute.
We're running 2 Unburdens, 2 Hijacks, and 3 Karzev's Expertise.
Right, okay. So the reason for the Defiant Salvager over the Yaheeni, the Undying, is we're looking to snatch a girl and then sack them at this point. As you can tell, that we're trying the whole deck's based around just taking your girl and dumping the body after we're done with her.
So pretty much we take them, fucking fist you with them, and then get rid of the body after.
Right, and so that's why we're actually running Defiant Salvager, more Defiant Salvagers over Yaheeni, is that it allows us to progressively move forward with a creature that can gain a benefit from sacrificing a creature, rather than Yaheeni, who just becomes indestructible, which is nice, but he doesn't grow and become a more viable threat throughout the game. So that's the reason why on that.
But the sack outlet is what we're going for.
Right. We're going to go into the Unburden. Now that's kind of an awkward card. It's one of my favorite artworks from Scourge, I believe is what it came in.
Yeah, it was Scourge, the original.
Yeah, it came out in Scourge. And what I loved about that, I love that artwork. I actually personally bought that online instead of the new one. Just more hand control. At that point in time, you're looking at Labor to Heart and a couple other things that you've dropped out that we had answers for on the board or in your hand. We're just trying to continuously just poke at you so we don't have to worry about so many threats. Well, buddy, why'd you run away? Well, I guess I don't have any friends anymore. So that's why we're running the Unburden. It's kind of kooky, kind of weird, but it fits what we need to do. And if they have no cards in hand, we just cycle it. That's the reason we're running it over Mind Rot. Hijack allows you to steal vehicles if you need to. It's beneficial in that way, but mainly just to snatch a girl. We're running the Karzev's Expertise. I love this card because we actually chain it into a wrangle if we need to later on. Or an Incidiary Flow, or Labor to Heart, whatever we really need to at that point in time. So it allows us to chain forward.
Now we're going to go ahead and move on to our 4 drops, and it's the only one in the deck, is Yaheeni's Expertise.
Right. This is kind of, I guess, as you would call an expertise deck at this point. But the reason why, obviously, the -3/-3 allows you to get rid of general board states, which we were worried about. You have a lot of, especially in Just for Fun, you play against a lot of people who make token decks. So you have to handle things like that as well. But it really just, with the negatives, helps you clear the board out. It's definitely good against zombies before they go too big or too wide. It allows you to have a couple answers for them.
A lot more ass than you need.
Right. And then you can also chain into a Karzev's and chain down your hand. You actually cast 3 spells for free at some point in time. That's the dream. We all have one. Most of us die with it. But
once in a while, it pops off.
It does. It's actually kind of funny.
Now we're going a little high. This is our 8 drop. It's the Distorted Mindbender. We're running 4 of those as well.
It's a distended. I can't write, so I apologize to Tommy.
It's alright. I can't add or count, so.
Right.
It works.
Right. We complete each other. He's my other half, and you can also reach the top shelf. But the point is that Distended Mindbender, continuing the hand control. And for those of you who don't understand, when you emerge something, you have to sacrifice a creature. So if we snatch your girl, we can emerge easier. People are like, well, you're still paying mana to take it, you're not really progressing forward. The cool thing is with a wrangle, a lot of creatures actually have power 4 or less. And so we're actually netting mana when we wrangle. So you think that casts for 8 and emerges for 6, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Emerges for 6.
Yeah, emerges for 6. So when you emerge it out, you actually only need to wrangle. If you wrangle something that has 4 mana, you only need 2 to spend. So we actually can do it on turn 4. Or on their turn 4 if we need to, or our turn 4. In whatever ways that you're looking at it. So we're actually using your creatures to hit you with them, and then rip your hand apart, farther to try to get rid of more of your finishing cons while dropping our own into the field.
Now on to our split card. We're running, I want to say it was 3 cut and ribbons.
Yep, we're running cut ribbons. The reason why is it's one of the better 2-drop removals. I know it doesn't hit everything like Grasp of Darkness, but it's much easier to cast. And also, since we're a deck that's based on if your creatures and not ours, we need a secondary finisher, which Ribbons allows us to do, late game when we have more lands. So it helps with both things, early game and late game finishing.
Well, now on to the sideboard.
Like, side girl.
Hell yeah. But I don't have one. So we're running... we're running 3 dispossesses.
Dispossess. You name an artifact, rip it out of their hand, library, graveyard, and you just remove it from the game. This is really geared against Marvel Works, which is the most played deck in the format. I know everybody talks about zombies right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Because that was the one random archetype to come in and just swoop it out in one of the Pro Tours Amonkhet. So, but Marvel Works is actually played overall more in Amonkhet because it just hits what you need.
Yeah.
Oh god, that Old Glory.
Good dog dick.
Yeah, that's a good dog dick right there.
Next, we're moving on to Faith of the Devoted. We're running 3 of those.
Alright, so this is a really random card. Faith of the Devoted. 90% of you probably don't care about this card except for me.
Value.
Right. It's 1 black and 2 colorless for an enchantment. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1 colorless, and your opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life. Well, if you haven't noticed, we're running a couple cycle cards main board. We also run a couple in our sideboard when we get to them. But the whole point is that against controlled matchups, we don't always have the availability to steal creatures, so we need another win con, obviously. And so, it was one of the best win cons to come up with without having to worry about just casting Descendant Mindbender straight out, as it allows us to just get rid of cards that we don't need anymore, or that don't have a use at that moment for us, and still progress farther in the game while sifting through our deck to find our Mindbenders.
And next we're using Violent Impact. We're running 2 of those.
Okay, Violent Impact destroys, it's a demolish with cycle, basically. What demolish does is it destroys an artifact or a land. It's 4 casting cost sorcery. But it allows you to cycle it. So, value with that and Faith of the Devoted is why we're choosing Violent Impact instead of Demolish or anything else like that as well.
Next, we're going by force. We're running 2 of those.
Right, because if your girl came with us willingly, it probably is awkward. So, for me, I wanted to use a card that kind of fit the deck, and I want to take your girl by force. But by force, I mean I want to smash your Marvel Works or your vehicles, because what it does is it does what Release the Gremlins does without paying the double X. So it's 1 red and X. You destroy X target artifacts. It's pretty great. It's like Shatter on steroids.
Mm-hmm. Or Release the Gremlins. I kind of think it's not as good as it because you get the Gremlin with the release of it, but it's a very good card and it's very cheap to play.
Right. And we're going to move into our next one, which is Never Return. Just because she's never going to return to you when I'm done with her. Not because I'm a mortician or anything like that, or a former mortician. Don't. But the point of that is, it's Planeswalkers. We're weak against Planeswalkers. I was actually playing against a really jank Tezzerator deck and lost and got really mad at it and bought them right away. So I was like, I deal with this shit no more.
I'm freaking done.
Because we didn't have an answer right away, and I couldn't find my Faith as a Devoted when I sideboarded. Very upset about it. Realized that, well, Mardu runs mostly Planeswalkers, and Marvel Works plays Planeswalkers. If you rip out their Ulamog's or you don't see it, they hit Chandra. So
Kieran.
what?
I hate Kieran.
Hard Kieran.
Yeah, hard Kieran.
That's a rough. So, Never Return gets rid of a couple things, and the return part is just you exile a card and get a zombie, which is great against zombies as well because it stops the recursion from the Undead Warrior, which is great.
Last but not least, we're running 2 Lost Legacies.
Alright, Lost Legacy is used to target like something like if you're playing Marvel Wars Ulamog. Allows you to just rip it out of their deck, and they're forced to win off Chandra at that point, which in that case we have Never Return for. There it is. So
Boom, boom.
Right. We have a couple different ways to deal with Marvel Works and with zombies, which are 2 of the biggest archetypes being played right now, as well as Mardu vehicles are still sneaking in here and there. Those are our biggest things we're building our sideboard against. I know some of these cards are being played in a lot of other decks. Like I know Zombies, for example, does play Lux Legacy and Dispossess in their sideboard. It has great answers. Main board is hard to play them because if you see them, you don't know what's in their deck. So you have to wait for them to be in your sideboard for them to be useful, and that's where most of their value is. So
typically we tried to throw answers for everything that we were going up against, and this is pretty much what we came up with. Well-rounded. You know, here in future videos we'll show you how these are played. But before we even bring out these videos, we playtest the shit out of them, each and every deck that we're bringing out, and this is the final version.
Yeah, there's a lot of sleep over this, Tommy. But I want to thank you guys again for watching and subscribing and liking our videos. I really want to thank Really Deep Penetration for this because they have been fantastic to us.
I want to thank BRK. Holsters are awesome, buddy. We'll get into that in another video.
So remember, like Really Deep Penetration, I mean RDP, tap. Check out their tap packs. I'm absolutely in love with this pen for lots of reasons.